My name's Howard Catton. I'm a nurse, and I became a nurse when I left school. I lived near a local hospital. I went to the hospital to try and get a job, and they asked me if I would do some voluntary work. And I did. I started doing some voluntary work, helping to move people around the hospital, helping to go and deliver food. But I just saw what a difference all of those people were making to people's lives on a daily basis, and how important health was to everything else. It's not until you don't have health that you realise that it's central to your family life, your social life, your work life. Everything that you do revolves around being healthy, having good relationships, being happy and content, so much more than just your physical health. So I became a nurse. I have a young family. I have a son and a daughter who are 13 and 10. So right now it feels that in my spare time I'm like the taxi driver, going to the Scouts or going to the Cubs or going to the orchestra or down to the lake to meet with their friends. Today, I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the International Council of Nurses. We're the body recognised by WHO, by the UN organisations, to speak on behalf of nurses. 28 million nurses around the world. We're headquartered in Geneva in Switzerland, and our members are the national nursing associations, the organisations in country who represent nurses. So what we are trying to do is to make sure that we're bringing nursing advice and nursing expertise to global health policy making. So, just 2 weeks ago, we had a lot of nurses participating in the World Health Assembly. We're organising and managing that to make sure that nurses are intervening on key items, giving a nursing perspective and giving advice. We're letting our member associations, national nursing associations in country are our members. We're letting them know what we say, but we're also letting them know what the ministers from their countries are saying, what commitments they are giving as well, so that the lobbying, the advocacy that we do globally can then be followed up locally. We also write a lot of statements and a lot of reports. That can sound a little bit dull, but for example, our most recent report showed that we think that the global nursing shortage could be doubling from 6 million to 12 to 13 million, and bringing alive to health ministers, to global policymakers, just how catastrophic that would be for health services, for the delivery of health services, is where we're bringing nursing voice and proposing actions that we want to see. So we're not just saying this is what we think that the problem is, we're then saying here's a fix, here's a solution, this is what nurses think you should be doing. Whenever the next disaster happens around the world, and we know there will be one, there'll be another pandemic, there'll be a natural or a man-made disaster. Firstly, that we are better prepared for that we have done the planning, we've got the equipment, the tools that our frontline staff need to respond to whatever that disaster is, that the systems are in place, that we're ready to go. All of those things require work, preparation and investment in advance. We know that didn't happen with the pandemic, and it was nurses who then had to suffer the consequences, had to manage and deal with the consequences of that as people got sick. That requires real investment, and too often I hear ministers, politicians talking about health and just seeing the cost. Was it Oscar Wilde who said that people know the cost of everything but the value of nothing? And I feel a little bit like that with nurses as well, that we don't see how what nurses do, how the investment in health is central to our health and our well-being, but also provides security and peace and cohesion within countries. So that much better preparedness, but then also when events happen. And I think that what I'd also like to be able to see is that when the big issues that are facing the world, are being discussed here, whether it's in Geneva or in New York or in Vienna as well. It's not just health, but it's climate change, it's about mental health, it's about peace, and it's about prosperity, that people get the fact that nurses and healthcare workers have a key, leading, important, valuable voice, that they're bought in, that we're not sat outside the room waiting for a minute to come in and just deliver an intervention for 2 or 3 minutes, that we're sat around the table in a much more consistent way as well.